So in order for us to get decent vector outputs using scan to CAD, we have to make sure that our initial raster image are suitable for conversion. They're cleaned up and tidied up. Sometimes if we have scanned copies of hard documents, we're gonna be getting stuff like this in the corner here where there's some shadows or maybe some residue on the paper itself kind of makes it so that the document itself is a little bit dirty. Other than the stuff that we can do to the settings for our scanner, there are some functionalities on Scan to CAD that we can make use of to clean up the image a little bit. So it's mostly in the Clean Image tool here. You can click on that. The one thing that I want you to make use of is this Remove Speckles and Holes tool. So let's click on that and see what happens when we click on that. When we talk about holes, we're talking about white clusters of pixels in otherwise black areas like this one. So if you increase the hole size, it's going to start covering up some of these holes here, as you can see. We also want to get rid of these speckles here. So what you want to do is increase the speckle size so that it starts taking away some of the speckles here. Now, you do want to be careful when you're working with speckle size and hole size, because it's also going to start erasing some of the speckles and holes that we actually want to keep in the image. For example, if you remove this, you can see that these letters still have the holes in them. But once we click on Remove Speckles and Holes, it covers these up. So, in cases where you don't want to accidentally cover up any holes or erase any speckles that are actually a part of the image, what you can do is, instead of using the Remove Speckles and Holes tool here, let's just exit, you can manually erase these by clicking on the Erase button here. So just click and drag to erase this. Just take your time, make it as clean as possible. If you instead want to fill in a hole instead of erasing, you can click on the Draw Rectangle tool here, click on Draw Rectangle Solid, and you can do what we just did with the Erase tool, click and drag to cover up anything that you might want to cover up. So I actually don't want it there, so I'm going to erase that again with the Erase tool. So as you can see, we cleaned up the little ink blot looking thing in the corner there. But let's explore some of the other tools in the Clean Image menu here. We have a Thicken Lines tool. So sometimes when we scan images, the lines aren't very legible. What you can do is you click on Thicken Lines, and it just adds a little bit of thickness to some of the thinner lines in the image. And with this particular image, the lines are actually thick enough, so I'm not going to go and use that. As for smooth, some of the lines might also have some jagged edges here, so it just kind of levels these out somewhat, makes it a little bit clearer. So in using this Clean Raster Image menu, you can actually clean up a lot of the parts of the scan, of any scan that might be a little bit dirty. So we can click on OK here. Once you've cleaned this up, you can also make use of the tools here. The next step is just to convert it by clicking on Convert Raster Image here, choosing the presets and the settings that are suitable for this kind of document. In this case, I'm going to click on Vectorize and OCR. We want to use OCR because we want to convert the text here to usable vector text. You can click on Character Size to select the character size here. Just click and drag. Click on Run. And that's a pretty clean conversion. Again, the cleaner the initial raster image, the better the output is going to be. So you can click on OK here and just click on Export here on the upper right. Choose the file format you want to use, and then just name it whatever you want to name it. Click on Save. And then OK. So before anything else, before using any of these tools, you're gonna want to make sure that the initial image that you're scanning is as clean as it can be. But in cases where that can't happen, or maybe the original scanned document is unavailable and can't be scanned anymore, you can use the tools that we talked about in this video to clean up the image a little bit before converting it into vector.